mean, I guess mushrooms is pretty common, right? But what about bacon? Extra, extra special, right? Today I'm gonna show you how to make it. Start by blanching green beans. You need 1.5 pounds of green beans, and you wanna cook them quickly in salted boiling water, and then cool them off under cold running water or in an ice water bath. Once they're cool, you can drain them and dry them. I think the flavor absorbs better if you cut them in half lengthwise, because then all the flavor gets in the nooks and the crannies of the green bean, but it does take kind of a long time. Shh, don't tell anybody I said this. You can use the frozen Frenched green beans if you want to. You can do this part ahead, you can make the sauce ahead, you can cook your bacon ahead, you can cook your shallots ahead, you can do pretty much everything ahead. Once they're cut in half, then cut them into about 2-inch pieces, and then slice up some mushrooms. It's 8 ounces of mushrooms. Slice those guys. Green bean casserole, as you probably know, is frequently made with canned condensed mushroom soup. I'm not a huge fan of canned condensed mushroom soup, so I like to make my own sauce, which is sauteed mushrooms and milk and other flavorings thickened with flour. So that's what I'm gonna show you how to do. Now what you wanna do is, over here in this pan, I have a bunch of bacon that I'm cooking. I'm gonna take it out and drain it on some paper towels. It's 12 ounces of bacon. So bacon does release some fat while you're cooking. I'm not gonna cook my sauce ingredients in the bacon fat because I want some bacon flavor in there, but I don't want it to be that strong. So I'm just gonna pour it off and saute my ingredients in unsalted butter. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. It's so warm in here, it's practically melted already. Crazy hot in here today, guys. This is 1 onion, diced. You wanna saute that, start getting it a little bit translucent before you add your mushrooms. I just like to start this off just a little bit before I add the mushrooms, but I'm gonna go ahead and add those now. You wanna cook everything until the onions are translucent and softened and the mushrooms start turning a little bit golden brown and also have released some of their liquid. I like to season with some salt. That helps pull out the moisture and also obviously flavor it, but it definitely starts the moisture coming out of any of your vegetables. Salt and pepper. I have my pan on a medium for the bacon so I wouldn't burn it. Turn it up a little bit for the sauteing. It's a lot of vegetables and you want the pan to get nice and hot. I have it on high, in case you were wondering. The liquid is starting to come out and evaporating, and now it's starting to squeak. Getting there, getting there. It smells good. The smell of mushroom sauteing is so awesome. Now what you want to do is add about 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Not about, that's how much you're going to add. Give it a stir. And then stir or whisk in 3 cups of milk. I got my pan a little bit hot in the center because this induction burner is not like a regular stove and it's very concentrated in the center. All right. I like to slowly whisk the milk in at the beginning so that you don't form lumps. Then you can add it more quickly as it goes in. You want to bring this to a boil to activate the starch in the flour, and that's what's going to thicken your sauce, and it will not thicken if you don't boil it, or partially thicken, or the flour won't cook. So you just want to cook this until it's thickened enough to coat the back of a spoon. That's what's going on right now. That should take about 10 to 13 minutes, just reducing it slowly down. You can turn the heat off now and add a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And a little bit of cayenne pepper, like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Stir that in. And then add your green beans, the 1.5 pounds of carefully Frenched green beans. Delightful. And then about half of the bacon goes in now, and then half will get sprinkled on top. So, and then like some of it you can eat. Always make more bacon than you need. Inevitably, somebody's gonna come into the kitchen and be like, smells so good. What is that? Right, like you don't know it's bacon. And I say that with love. Into an 8x8 baking dish, or like a 2-quart baking dish. Then really, it's hot. You could eat it right now, but you might want to make this ahead. You could certainly do that and refrigerate it and then reheat it. Put it into the oven now, just until it starts to get bubbling, covered with aluminum foil. My oven is at 375 degrees, and when you put this in like this, it's already warm, so it'll only take about 15 minutes to heat through. When it's heated through, uncover it. Should be hot, should be bubbling. Mine stopped bubbling a little bit, but that's okay. It's still hot and delicious. Sprinkle it with fried shallots. You want to know how to make fried shallots? We have a great video that you can watch on marthastewart.com. Sprinkle your fried shallots over the top. The instructions are also in the recipe. And then the rest of that bacon, that goes on top too. So now you can make this ahead if you want to, like I said, all the way up to the point where you mix everything together and put it in the dish. Then it just goes in the oven. So if you're gonna do it ahead and put it in the fridge, you'll probably wanna bake it for at least a half an hour. This was only 15 minutes because it was already hot. The advantage of doing your own green beans like this is that they stay so crunchy in that delicious, rich sauce full of mushrooms and bacon. You're totally gonna love this. It's so good and almost completely make ahead.